Hey guys, my name is PD and I hope you're doing awesome. Today I want to touch on the Sabbath. If you haven't watched some of my other videos about the Sabbath, I encourage you to go watch it. Because if you don't believe in keeping the Sabbath or so on, I've got a video. The Sabbath changed my life. It's really blessed many people. Glory to God, and yeah, go check it out. It might bless you too. Today I just want to read to you Exodus 16:22, and I want to speak about the Sabbath for a moment. On the sixth day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers each. And when all the leaders of the congregation came and told Moses, he said to them, "This is what the Lord has commanded. Tomorrow is a day of solemn rest, a holy Sabbath to the Lord. Bake what you will bake and boil what you will boil, and all that is left over lay aside to be kept until morning." So they laid it aside till the morning, as Moses commanded them, and it did not stink, and there was no worms in it. Moses said, "Eat it today, for today is a Sabbath to the Lord. Today you will not find it in the field. 6 days you shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is Sabbath, there will be none." Now, there is a lesson in this thing. Here, our Father is saying that he commanded them to gather the bread, labor, do everything that needs to be done on the 6 days of the week to work so you can have food on the table. That is the message in all of this. But then on the 7th day, on the Sabbath day, you shall not do any work. You shall not gather any bread. You shall not, in other words, even work. You shall not work for money. You shall not pay anyone. You will not work. And he said that there will not be any worms if you store what you did on the 6 days for the 7th. But if you do work on the 7th day, there will the fruit of your labors, the bread that you gather, the labor that you do, the work that you do, will have worms in it. It will be rotten. And what I mean by that is that all of the laboring that you do on the Sabbath day will not yield fruit. It will be fruitless. You can work as hard as you want. Everything that you do on the Sabbath day will be fruitless. It is a commandment of the Father. He's instructed us to keep this, And I've found that in my own life, I found it as well, when I have chosen to break the Sabbath, be disobedient to the Father's instruction, all of the labor that I had on that day was like for nothing, because everything just goes wrong. Everything just, there's just no fruit, and I just get nothing done if I want to work, but if I keep the day holy and I spend it with the Father, the opposite happens. And if I rest, the opposite happens. It's like this incredible blessing, and then on the 6 days, He blesses incredibly, so that I will have enough for the 7th day. He blesses in terms of productivity, in terms of financial blessing. He blesses in terms of our relationship with Him, our relationship with others. It's this amazing day, guys. And I encourage you to keep it. I encourage you to start trying to keep the Sabbath if you're not keeping it already. And do not forget this instruction which the Father said to remember. He said, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. So let's start remembering it as He said. A lot of people would say, "Oh no, but Yeshua is our Sabbath rest and we don't need to keep the Sabbath anymore." Yes, Yeshua is our Sabbath rest. We do rest in Him. I love to rest in Him and what He's done for me and the finished work of the cross. I love to rest in it. But just because He did all that for me does not mean that the Sabbath day that God made in Genesis 2 verse 3, even before the fall of man, doesn't mean that that is now abolished. Alright? Jesus and everyone kept the Sabbath, and so I will keep it. And in the same way, just because Jesus is the bread of life, and yet I still eat bread, like physical bread, in the same way, just because Jesus is the Sabbath rest, we will still keep the physical Sabbath day holy, the 7th day that God has set apart in the creation for us to bless us. Not for us to work for the Sabbath, but for the Sabbath to work for us and for us to be blessed by it. Alright guys, may God bless you and keep you. I hope this short message blesses you. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.